Lesson 102, Transversals and Simplifying Equations. When you have two lines, now we're going to stick with parallel lines, but a transversal can cut any kind of lines. So, but if you have a line that goes through two other lines, that particular line is called a transversal. Now we want to look at if the two lines that the transversal cuts are parallel. So that's what we kind of want to pay attention to, if they're parallel. So we're going to name all these angles 1 through 8. With transversals, they divide the lines up into 8 with 8 angles. We have what's called corresponding angles. They're matching angles from the top group and the bottom group. If the lines are parallel, then corresponding angles will be congruent. So if the lines are parallel, then corresponding angles will be congruent. I'll just put it like that. Corresponding angles are congruent. That's if the two lines are parallel. So I want to show you using this paper here. So we'll pretend that maybe I can't use this one here to get a wet. Don't I? Where's all my wet erase markers? Those are dry erase. Here's one. So, whoa. Okay, wait, that's not it. This is it. So we have our parallel lines. We can draw as best we can. And our transversal. So, if I take a pair of scissors and cut it right between the parallel lines, these match up onto each other. Can you see how they probably are parallel? So this was here, congruent. Angle 1 will be congruent to angle 5. Look, if I put it right down, do you see how they match up? So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 5. Here, if I write it, this was 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two angles, 1 and 5, correspond together. 2 and 6 are corresponding angles, 3 and 7, and 4 and 8. So we can write corresponding angle pairs. So we have angle 1 and angle 5. Angle 2 and angle 6, angle 3 and angle 7, and angle 4 and angle 8. Those are 4 pair of corresponding angle pairs. Now, if we have what's called exterior, those are called on the outside, means on the outside. Interior means on the inside. And alternate, these are words I think you're very familiar with, means to switch places or to switch. So we have what's called alternate exterior angles. So we are switching angles that are on the outside. So when we talk about the outside of what, this is exterior to the parallel sides. So if we look at our parallel angles up here, parallel lines I mean, exterior means on the outside of the parallel line. So the exterior angles are 1, 2, 7, and 8. Alternate exterior angles would be, if we chose the 2, it would correspond or be alternate exterior with the 7. So they are alternating sides of the transversal, and they're on the exterior of the, what are those called? Parallel sides. So alternate, this is sides of transversal, and exterior to parallel sides. Lines. Why do I keep calling them sides? Parallel lines. Okay, so those pairs would be angle 1 and angle 8, and then angle 2 and angle 7. Those pairs of angles will be congruent if the lines are parallel. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Then we have what's called alternate interior angles. And again, it's the alternate sides of the transversal. Interior means between the two parallel sides, and then their angles. So those ones would be angle 4 and angle 5. Those two are alternate interior angles. And then angle 3 and angle 6. And again, if the lines are parallel, those two angles would be congruent. And you can kind of see it if we have our picture here. Is this going to bother you putting it over top of all these words? 4, this was 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you look at angle 2 and angle 7, notice that they are vertical angles. So they're going to be congruent. So if I move this back up here, you see you have the alternate in exterior angles. The alternate interior angles are, let's see, which ones? 4 and 5. So notice that if I come down like this, 4 and 5 are vertical angles. So the alternate interior angles, so you have one on the outside, one on the inside, 4 and 5, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6. So 2 and 7 are exterior, 3 and 6 are interior, 4 and 5 are alternate interior. So you can kind of see, even if I were to turn this upside down and over, notice how they line up. 2 and 7, they should be the same measure angle. So sometimes looking at it this way helps. Okay, one more thing that we have to go over is simplifying equations. So we have to combine like terms. We've talked about this before. In order to be like terms, they have to have the same exact variables with the same exponents on the variables. So these are like terms because they're both x to the first power. Because the variables match. So when we are simplifying equations, let's start with the given. So we're going to do an example. 3x plus 5 minus x equals 17 plus x minus x. And this is given. So then we want to combine like terms. So we're going to take 3x minus x. So if we put our lines right here, we're going to combine these because they have the same, the variables match. We have 3x minus x is 2x plus 5 equals, and then here we'll combine like terms. X minus x is just 0x, or candy bar minus candy bar, 0 candy bar, so it equals 17. Then we are going to subtract 5 from both sides. So I have minus 5 minus 5. So number 3 is subtract 5 from both sides. Then we're going to simplify. So we have, this goes to 0, so we have 2x equals 12. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And that will be step 5. And then step 6 will be to simplify. So 2 divided by 2 times x is just 1x, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So when we're asked to simplify equations and show our steps or do the statements and the reasons, then we could do it this way. And that's the end of the lesson.